Who are you and what brings you to JCON?
Hi, Frank. I'm Nicolas Fränkel, and I'm here as a speaker.
And the topic is?
The topic is evolving your APIs, so HTTP APIs. The idea is most of the time you are in a regular project, which means that you are stressed. You need to do a lot of stuff like designing your model, thinking about the boundaries, and then you need to think about all the REST stuff. Somebody said, hey, this is REST and this is what you should do, but actually some cases it's very blurry. Like some people say like the REST thesis is like the Bible. Somebody came, wrote a book, and then left. And it's up to the people who are left to decide what is the truth.
Yeah.
And so there is a high chance you didn't think about versioning your API. And I will show you a few tips and tricks. Well, if you attend my talk, how you can version your API as an afterthought without breaking too many things.
Okay. And we just had Simon Martinelli here who talked about gRPC
Yeah.
instead of or next to APIs.
Um,
What's your so his idea in the talk is sometimes you don't need all that data flowing back and forth over REST. Do you agree?
it's very hard to have a generic position over all use cases. There is GraphQL, there are REST API or RESTful APIs, gRPC. All of them have pros and cons, so it depends a lot on your context.
You're a consultant. It depends.
I was a consultant. In general, it depends. It's the beginning of the conversation. So if you tell me about your use case, yeah, I can tell you more. But I don't think it's the next generation. If you are interested in performance, it's much, much better. If you are interested in, let's say, speed of delivery, if you do gRPC, for example, it's possible, but it's much harder to call that from a browser or from a regular client. So if you have service-to-service interaction, yes. If you don't, and then if you have service-to-service interaction, if you change your contract, if you you need to recompile your old stuff on the client side. So again, it depends. There are cons. I'm not saying they are bad. I'm saying in certain contexts, then there are good fits. In some others, there aren't.
How can people know gRPC protocol buffers? Proto buffers. That's related. Am I correct?
To be honest,
I think so.
yeah.
I think that's the way how you define it. But then
I remember that in gRPC you need to compile your model to some specific static stuff, and it might be protobuf, but I'm not sure.
And the advantage is you lose all the JSON or XML markup.
Exactly. I mean, it's binary stuff. That's why I'm saying that if you're interested in performance, it's much better.
Yeah.
But again,
it can be more difficult to code it and use it.
Not to code it, but again, if it changes regularly, you will have a lot more trouble because you need also, in that case, to update the clients.
And that's why they have to come to your talk to know about versioning.
That would be a great idea.
Okay.
But if you are listening to us, perhaps you are a bit far away, so not that good.
All the sessions are recorded, I heard, so they will be online.
Yeah,
afterwards.
in a few months.
I don't know. We'll see.
I was looking there, but I should be looking there.
That's the camera, yes.
Hey.
That's the camera, yes. Are you also attending talks?
I am attending talks. I attended one talk, to be honest. I attended Frank Pachot's talk. Not only is French, but he also works in Switzerland. He also lives in Switzerland. No, that's true, but that's not the reason I attended. He was showing a few tips and tricks about Hibernate, but from the database point of view. And I think most developers don't care or don't know about this. And I was happy to already know a couple of things, but I also learned a couple of things. So that's really good.
Are we a bit spoiled with Hibernate that we don't know enough anymore what can be done with SQL?
To be honest, that was the case already 10 years ago. A lot of people at the time were already complaining that most people don't know how to use Hibernate. It's not because it works, that it works in the best way. And okay, it depends how much you want to optimize or whatever, but yeah, it's always like, the cost benefit ratio. If you don't have any performance issue, that's fine. If you start to have performance issue, then you need to understand how it works. I mean, you know about Vlad Mialcia? Yeah, he's the expert on Hibernate and SQL and how it works. So yeah, I don't do Java and JVM anymore, or at least not as much as I did. But I still read his blog post when I can because they are also very interesting.
You don't do Java a lot anymore. What are you doing here?
Well, that's the thing. I did a lot of Java and JVM in the past, so all my network is here. But now I work for API 6. See, API 6. It's an API gateway. That's why my like current concern are more about APIs.
And do you think that there is a better language than Java? Or what language are you using?
Though again, it depends. But already a couple of years ago, I started Kotlin. And I must say that every time I have to write Java again, it breaks my heart. If you do Java, that's fine, but really try Kotlin. And a couple of years ago, I also tried to learn Rust, which is very interesting. Like if you come from Java or Kotlin or whatever, and you learn Rust, it's really, really good. It's painful, like everything new, but it's really interesting. So I would advise anybody, but not only Rust, try to do some stuff that you've never done before, like Erlang or whatever.
By the way, I'm now doing my very first steps into Kotlin.
Perfect. Congrats.
And let's say it's just Java
Oh no,
with a bit of improvements.
it's not just Java. So, for example, something very stupid: how many static methods do you code, or do you use as libraries?
No idea.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember my first Java lessons. Java is an object-oriented language, right? A static method is what?
Yeah.
It's and what I dislike is once you understand that this is a static method, so it's a function, a pure function, hopefully, that you need to put in a class because the Java language tells you everything is an object, which is not true, right? We have been lied to for years. And in Kotlin, there is this extension methods pattern. So in the end, it compiles in the bytecode as a static method, but the way you write the code, it looks object-oriented. Yes, yeah. And this is stupid, but it makes your codes so much better to read, so much easier to read. So that's what I like.
What I found out after doing some Kotlin for a few hours, and I stepped back to Java, I was already forgetting to put point comma or use the apply from Kotlin.
Yeah.
I was already missing it in Java. So I have to agree there is certainly some enrichment there on the language.
Yeah, the Lambda stuff is amazing. I mean, and don't take me wrong, I mean, Kotlin stole IDs from everywhere. Like if you have done some Groovy, you know about the IT parameter, the default one. It stole IDs from everywhere. But it assembled all those IDs in a very nice language, in my opinion. And the funny part is, already a long time ago, I tried Scala, and it didn't click. I didn't find it the same way. I mean, at the time, it was only Scala 2. There was no Scala 3. There was an implicit keyword. There was this implicit keyword as auto-conversion. It makes your codes much harder to maintain. And I feel that Kotlin gets you the same benefit as Scala, but everything can be like followed to the source code. Like you are in your IDE, you click, and you find the source, and you can read what it does. So that's really, I mean, from a language designer point of view, which I'm not, I think it's really interesting to see those differences.
But it's not a war. They're both running on the JVM, so...
Oh, definitely. But you know, Clojure is also running on the JVM. I tried it. I couldn't
click.
Yeah, I think Lisp is not for me.
Okay. But yeah, you're still here.
I'm still here.
And still talking.
I'm still
sharing
talking.
knowledge. So thanks for being here.